where the wrestling truth resides.
Who do we think, especially after the Nix report gets shown and we talk about the ratings, who do we expect to see jumping ship back now that H is in charge and McMahon has nothing to do with the company? Because I have a couple names that I expect to see back in the company before probably by 2026.
I think, honest to God, so I'm gonna start with talent. I'm gonna go down to announcers. So talent, Edge and Christian are both gonna leave AEW and go back and retire in WWE correctly. They're gonna have one last match as Edge and Christian, and then retire that way. I think that's what they're gonna do. Malachi Black's gonna leave. He's gonna come back as Malachi Black.
Big Triple H guy. Yeah, so obviously,
Aleister Black's gonna come back.
He'll come back as Malachi. Because both King and Matthews are going to come with him. The entire House of Black is going to jump ship over to WWE, and there will still be the House of Black.
Can I say one thing about Matthews? I really hope he gets a name change because, so you got Malachi Black. This sounds like this big sinister name, right? Brody King. This sounds like this really cool name, and you got Buddy. So come on, man. Get Robert or something. Give him a name. But no, seriously. No, I think those guys, you keep going down, and there's a lot of guys. I think FTR, yeah, definitely. There's a tag division in WWE now. There's a decent tag division in WWE now. Bring FTR over. Throw them on Raw. Imagine them, going in Raw, whipping the crap out of Miz and Morrison. Miz and R-Truth be like, these are ours now, bitches. Whoever in the WWE wants to come get them, come take them. That shit would be awesome. Right. And JR, I think will go back to WWE one last WrestleMania, then retire correctly. Taz is going to go back to WWE and actually do it right this time because he's not going to have Vince screaming in his ear. That's why a lot of those announcers quit. Joey Styles couldn't stand Vince screaming in his ear. So yeah, a lot of these guys went, no, Vince, I'm done. Now I guess I've heard, Foley was the same way.
Yep.
I've heard through the grapevine that basically with H in charge, you don't hear him in your ear. Every now and then he'll pop in and he'll be like, yo, hey, do this. It's a quick thing. It's not him. It's not Vincent this year, Kevin Dunn this year. I'd have quit after the first night if that was me. I'd be like, I'm done. Bye.
Right, exactly.
Probably a match in. I'd have been like, I'm done.
No, the reason why AEW was made was because of how shit Vince was doing at that current time.
It was literally when it started, it was a fuck you to Vince. It wasn't a fuck you to WWE, it was a fuck you to Vince.
Yeah.
Because it was started by guys that Vince either A, refused to bring in, or refused to hire or sign or whatever, however you want to say it, or B, they were guys that were WWE guys that left WWE for the sole purpose of because Vince fucking wasn't listening to them. There was no working relation between boss and employee. There was no directive in what they were doing. So they started AEW as a fuck you to Vince, and they made it a thing. But now that Vince has nothing to do with WWE and WWE is getting better and better and better, now that H is in charge, we can see it, especially with the Nix report coming up. We can see the only reason AEW is still bringing in fans, is still getting attention at all, is because of the talent they have on their roster.
Right.
It has nothing to do with AEW. It's AEW is also now protecting their talent way more in the sense that they're not letting their talent work as many indie shows anymore. Right. And it's because Tony Khan knows that he's grasping at straws at this point because the only reason they're getting any traction is because of who they have on their roster. And if those roster members are allowed to work indie shows still, like their big names are allowed to work indie shows, then people are going to stop watching AEW because nobody gives a fuck about AEW anymore. The only reason AEW is still floating is because of the talent. It's because everybody is still watching because it's the only fucking place you can see X, Y, and Z because X, Y, and Z can't wrestle anywhere else. It's the same way how WCW held on for so long at the end of their fucking tenure because WCW still had guys like Sting and fucking the NWO and whoever else you want to fucking mention. And that's the only reason WCW stayed afloat for as long as they did. And it's not because anybody gives a shit about AEW. It's because you can only see X, Y, and Z wrestler if you watch AEW. The House of Black, I can only study if I fucking sit and watch AEW. I don't want to watch AEW. I want to watch Kyle O'Reilly. I want to watch Malachi Black. I want to watch Daniel Bryan. I want to watch the Blackpool
and the rating shows it.
Club. And the rating shows it. It's the matches that we're seeing it week after week. The matches that are getting the most views are the ones with the biggest names. And then all the rest of their backstage segments, their interview segments, their in-ring segments, whatever the fuck, all the fucking viewership is dropping because nobody wants to fucking watch AEW. They just want to watch the wrestlers that they can't fucking see anywhere else.
Here's something else that WWE is doing correctly. They're building new stars.
Right.
So Braun Breaker, right? They just brought Braun Breaker up from NXT. Braun is tearing it up right now. Like, we all knew he was going to be big no matter what. He's
Ricochet.
He's a Steiner, for God's sakes. We knew he was going to be something.
Murdered Ricochet.
He did. He absolutely murdered Ricochet.
He's murdering everybody.
That's it. The way they're building
using him.
He's this death machine. Ilya Dragunov, they brought him up. They're slowly building Ilya up, even though Ilya, like, what I like is H knows Triple H, like, H acts like NXT exists where Vince didn't.
Yeah.
So when talent comes from NXT to WWE, they still have their NXT prestige.
Yeah.
So like let's use Asuka for a quick example. When Asuka went from NXT to the main roster, she lost almost pretty instantly.
You literally saying my argument that I was about to use.
Yeah, you can use anybody as from NXT
Balor.
to
Balor was a great example.
Balor came back because he was tired of the shit.
Yeah.
He went back to NXT.
I was going to say, Balor literally dropped down to NXT because H literally talked to Balor, and it was during like AEW startup, and they were doing the Wednesday night like back and forth between NXT and AEW.
Yeah.
And H personally talked to Balor and was like, "Yo, I'll bring you back to NXT, and like you can beat
he was going to quit
Balor again." Yeah, he was going to quit.
He was going to quit. He said, "Fuck this place, I'm done."
He was going to quit because Vince wasn't fucking doing shit with them, and H was like, "Yo, come back to fucking NXT. Like, we could use the star power anyway. Just fucking come back to NXT, and you could be Finn Balor again." And he went back to NXT, came back as the Prince.
Yeah.
And that is the only fucking version of Balor that I watch besides when he first started in WWE and was still able to be Balor.
Right.
When it comes
to this
to
day,
Balor, it's the only fucking Balor I watch is his NXT run in 2020.
Right. Sorry, finish your point.
That was my point was literally like, H will build these new stars, and we're going to see new stars grow up, build up. And here's the thing, to go back to what Levi was saying, H is also taking like a lot of these things Vince did and is going, no, male Maxim models. Our boy LA Knight was Max Dupree. How freaking stupid was that? Let's take the guy who's got some of the best charisma in WWE right now, has one of the best promos, has pretty solid in-ring work, and we're going to make him a male model promo dude.
Right.
How dumb was that? Yeah, H looked at that and went, no, let's fix this right now. And then, his first few feuds weren't great, but again, he built up LA Knight to the point now where he's like, yo, LA Knight's music hit. It's like The Rock coming out now. It's not quite that big, but it's like you hear that L-A, and the minute you hear the A, the crowd just goes up.
LA Knight for new U.S. champion. Just saying, LA Knight for new U.S. champion.
I agree.
He's gonna fucking kick Logan Paul's ass. It's gonna be. So
I really hope so.
Watch.
I love the shit that they're doing on the outside too, on the on Instagram and shit like that. But you literally just said you literally said my point that I was gonna say. Like AEW was created because talent was tired of going to NXT and either having to change their character or working on their character to be perfect in Triple H's eyes, get to the main roster, and the first thing that Vince does is fucking change everything.
Oh, you're a killer? Yeah. No, you're going to be a fisherman. Yeah, fisherman. Go buy a rod.
What did they do to the I can't remember what their name is, the two Vikings? Like, he completely changed their names.
Raiders.
Yeah. Changed their names. Fucking, they lost every fucking week. It's like, it was frustrating to a lot of guys, which is like a lot of guys why nobody wanted to sell. And everyone was tired of Vince, in his direction. Yeah, he had some good ideas, but a lot of them were shit. It was time for him to go, and he didn't want to go. So that's why AEW was created. However, now, all the flaws that happened with the AEW, that everybody knows that they refuse to fucking address or try to fix, you're fucked now, because now we have a guy that is actually there not only for the fans, is for the wrestlers. He's taking his ideas and going out with there. I guarantee you he's probably even communicating with top talents, trying to get their ideas off in his ideas. And he's also working with outside promotions. Everything that I've bitched about WWE should do, he is starting to do it, which is why I loved AEW. But now WWE is doing it. Now AEW doesn't have any excuses anymore. They cannot continue to say, hey, everything's great over here. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Because as you're going to get into, it's showing week by week, less and less people are stopping to give a shit about AEW and focus more on WWE, which is what is trying to get into my next segment. But I want you to finish your thing with the Wyatt Six finally showed up at WWE as well. But finish your point there.
And that's the thing.
I thought Nix had a point. I'm sorry. You like.
It's fine if Levi's got something.
Okay.
Well, that's the thing that, like, I kind of pointed out where Triple H has to slowly start changing the things that Vince had going on. If you go back and you listen to anybody that like got on a podcast like Renee's podcast or Chris Jericho's podcast, any of the talent that jumped ship from WWE over to AEW in the early days, especially Malachi Black, one of my favorite wrestlers. I've listened to almost every podcast that he's ever been on. I have no shame admitting it. That one of his biggest complaints was they had a bunch of these fucking ideas that he was told basically, what's your idea for this? This is what we're going to do. And then he would pitch his idea. It would be like, okay, that's what we're going to do. But then it would turn into a complete shit show. So he left WWE because he was sick of how he was fucking portrayed on the main roster.
Mm-hmm.
He was
look at it. Yeah.
Adam Cole was going to be a manager.
Without naming Vince, he basically was bitching about everything Vince was doing. Now look back at all the guys that have jumped ship to AEW were all fucking NXT guys because they all jumped ship as soon as they got called up to the main roster, and Vince absolutely fucked them.
Yeah.
So now they're gonna jump back to fucking WWE, and I mean, even look at the guys that have already jumped ship back to WWE. Look at it's the exact same thing as when they were jumping to AEW. Look at all the podcasts and interviews and whatever have you that they're discussing that they're like, AEW is a fucking shit show. It's AEW has become WWE a couple of years ago when Vince was at his fucking prime, and now WWE is becoming what AEW was when AEW first started. They're working with outside talent. They're listening to talent. They're taking, suggestions. They're focusing on stories. They're focusing on characters. They're letting the wrestlers decide where they want their characters to go.
What drives me a little bit batty, though, is like some of the guys are still doing the rah-rah AEW speeches. And I get it because Tony's still probably paying a lot of freaking money.
They have to.
Like I know, like Dax Harwood coming out, and I know like Tony's probably going, here's $20 million, Dax, don't say anything. It's like
no, he's just saying he's literally just telling them like, you're part of this company, you need to go out there and you gotta push for this company.
Yeah.
You work for this company, push for it.
I'm sorry, like I get you work for the company, push for it. But the reason sometimes people complain about their company is because they want it to be better. Like say I work for AEW right now, right? If you really got me fired, I'd go on a podcast. I'd go talk to Cornette and Last or something. And I'd be like, yeah, guys, it sucks over here right now. And the reason I'm bitching that it sucks is because I want it to be better. Everyone wanted AEW to be better. Everyone wanted AEW to be the actual legit second tier wrestling organization, or even the first if they're going to be because they're for a few minutes it looked like they were going to beat WWE, and
the thing about that too is that it's not even like, I mean, now it's probably different, but even when AEW first started going in the shitter, it's not like they were going on podcasts or interviews or whatever and blasting AEW.
No.
Like that's not what they were doing. They were going on podcasts and interviews and being like, as a I've worked for X, Y, and Z amount of companies, and these are things that AEW could be doing differently. Like I love it here, but these are things that could be doing differently. And I do the same thing. It wouldn't even need to be AEW. I would go on a pod, like say I was working Primos and say I had an issue with Primos, I'd go on a podcast and be like, I worked with Let's Wrestle and Impulse and whatever have you. And, I think that Primos is getting too caught up doing X and instead could be doing X, Y, and Z if they stop being so tunnel visioned on doing X. And that's what a lot of them were doing in the very early stages. Now they're either having to sing fucking AEW's praises out the wall, or they're getting on pods and being like, it's a fucking shit show over here.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the reason. I think that's another reason why H went in with the deal with TNA is because
Noah.
No matter how much money WWE has, they can't afford by themselves to bring back all of the talent that they lost because of what the shit that Vince did. But by going in and making deals with TNA and with Noah, it makes it so people like the Hardys who jump shit, who weren't confident enough to jump shit back to WWE, but instead jump shipped over to TNA, the Hardys can still show up on WWE because now, even though they're being paid by TNA, they can show up on WWE. And I think that's part of the reason why H immediately made deals with those other companies, because it's so when talent eventually leaves AEW because they don't fucking like it there anymore, even if they don't want to jump ship immediately back to WWE, TNA and Noah are both in working relationships. So it's a way to bring WWE talent like the Hardys and Edge and Christian and Malachi Black and whoever else have you. It's a way to bring them back to WWE without actually having to pay for them until H is sure, this is what you guys want. Like with the House of Black, Buddy's worked for him, but Brody King has never worked for WWE. So if they were to jump ship, I could see them going to like a TNA or going over to Noah, and it being something where H keeps his eye on them and continues to conversate with Black and Buddy and Brody and be like, are you sure? Like, is this what you want? Because I'm willing to bring you in. It's the same thing with guys like Cole and O'Reilly and the guys that could thrive in a setting like Pro Wrestling Noah. I would be like, they could leave they'd leave AEW, go to like Noah or TNA, and then H, could put, get in their ear and kind of be like, I'm you can come back, you can work for us. This is what we can do as long as this is what you want. It's H being very smart in the sense that he doesn't want any of the talent that's going to leave AEW to feel like the only other choice they have is to just go to WWE or they're never going to make it again. By making deals, it means guys that jump to TNA or guys that jump to Noah can be like, we can appear back on the biggest fucking show of them all. And we don't have to, we're not contracted to Triple H, or we're not, because TNA does a lot of stuff with, they're kind of like AEW was in the beginning, where they let their wrestlers go to, other promotions, so that it could be a way where they don't have to sign a WWE contract, and they could still be like, I'm going to work this indie show and this indie show and this indie show, but at the same time, hey, I can get back on NXT, or I can show up at the Royal Rumble, or I could show up on Raw, and they don't need to sign the contract where the only thing they can do is work for the televised shows. I don't quit.
Wow. Just
wow.
What a statement.
So I do have to say,
storytelling.
I know.
That's the other thing too. That's the other thing that drives me nuts about AEW is. So I think I forgot who said it. It might have been Bully Ray. Came out and was like, "Yo, AEW 5-star banger, 5-star banger, 5-star banger, 5-star banger, 5-star banger." Where the hell's the story? I don't care if a match is a 1.5 if it told a freaking story. It's like, come on, man. Like Undertaker, Mankind, Hell in a Cell. I think Meltzer back in the day gave it like 3.75 stars. Like not even 4.
Yeah. But
I'm sorry, that match to this day, everyone remembers that goddamn match. I mean, they all remember for Foley flying off the cage, but still, everyone remembers that match. Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, the back-to-back WrestleMania matches, people remember those matches. There was story to them. They were great matches too. Don't get me wrong, but there's story to them. I don't remember like who Daniel Bryan wrestled last Tuesday.
It's funny.
Sucks because I like Bryan.
That's kind of like what Perry was getting at with the crowd difference, and that's kind of what I was discussing with the crowd difference out here. It's not so much the big spots that pop people out here. It's the actual stories that people are invested in out here, and it was kind of the same way with what Perry was discussing, in the fact that like he had the Perry go around every night. So for however long he was out there, the audience knew Perry go around, end of match. We love, like, he was going out and beating the shit out of their hometown hero. It didn't matter because they were doing it so well, and Perry was such a good bad guy for to be the one standing across beating up their hometown hero, that they were all like, fuck yeah, like this is the dude, even though he's supposed to be a dick.
Right.
Actually, you want to know how much Daniel Bryan's value has gone down? Even his Funko Pops have dropped in price.
Yeah, it does.
Oh yeah,
everything's.
I'm not surprised. He's gonna be another one to jump ship.
Oh yeah.
I think he's gonna
retire.
Back.
I think he's gonna retire.
No, I think he's gonna retire. I think he's gonna jump ship back to WWE and retire properly. I think he's gonna have a retire. I think he's gonna put somebody over in his retirement match back in WWE where he belongs.
Gonna miss your favorite segment because speaking of AEW and shit like that, it is time for the next report.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
Thank you, fuck you, bye. Later, pilot. Show me what you got.
What the hell?
You have a vagina.
He needs some milk.
Oh my god! What is that?
What? Get out.
I'm extra hard.
Now, before you get into it, though, I just want to say, because we didn't get to it last week.
Okay.
NXT beat AEW. Dynamite. By it wasn't a lot. It was like 90,000, I think it was.
Last week? Yeah.
Last week. How did they do this week?
Well, okay. So I'm going to start with the AEW rankings because this is funny. Oh man, we were just talking about this too. So AEW Dynamite on TBS for June 19th. That is all of 3 days ago. The quarter-hour breakdown. So we're going to start with the first quarter hour here. That is, of course, 8 to 8:15 p.m. It's Roosh, who I get the horns, versus MJF, right? Now, that should be a banger of a match. 586,000.
They started with 586,000 people.
Did the Big Bang Theory not play that night? They started with 586,000. Normally, AEW starts around 900,000, somewhere in that area, and drops. They started at 586,000.
And like, there was no NBA or anything like that day, was there?
There was other stuff going on. Give me a second. I'll have to get into it here.
It doesn't get any better.
It does not, actually. Give me 1 second. So,
who was playing against AEW? That will be a better question that we will give them the benefit of the doubt if it's something like the NBA playoffs or something like that.
I think the only thing going off.
Celtics won the day before, so it wasn't the NBA playoffs because they won the day before my birthday.
Maybe what was the last game of the Stanley? There was a Stanley Cup final game tonight. Was it on Wednesday also?
I don't think so.
Oh, hold on. That's NXT. Yeah. No, they don't play the same nights. No, the NXT was up against the Stanley Cup final, not AEW.
What did the NXT stand compared to the Stanley Cup? What was their rating?
So, game 5 of the NHL Stanley Cup, which is the Florida Panthers versus the Oilers, averaged 4.15 million. So not bad.
And what did NXT do?
NXT did, let me see.
A little over $1 million?
724,000.
A little under.
Okay, so no excuses right there.
No
excuses. AEW just started with 520,000 or whatever.
Yeah. So yeah, that's just hot. Like, we call that hot garbage where I'm from. So come on. Sorry.
This will hopefully be a waking up point to get your shit together, to start firing people and hiring people that actually know what the fuck they're doing to get them on track.
Mm-hmm.
Something. What?
I just thought about this. I don't know why it just came to my mind. What channel are we streaming on?
Per sessions.
Okay, we are live on the Purr sessions.
Which is why we don't have a lot.
So.
Which is why we don't have a lot of viewers.
I don't know. We had I think 5 while Perry was on here, so we still had we've got about our average.
Yeah, so it's like I said, it's going to be hard because we started on the new channel.
It's all right.
We're getting there. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt the beautiful next report.
No, but we just got to once again build. It's going to take some months.
That's fine.
It's fine. Eventually, we'll get there. I'm hoping that Per Sessions will be bigger than my channel at one point. But we're definitely going to get there. But anyways, finish on
here. So, okay, so that was 8 to 8:15. 8:15 to 8:30, which is quarter 2. Roosh and MJF continued post-match shenanigans with the Cage of Agony.
What are you looking at, Nix, for ratings?
I'm looking at I'm getting these from WrestleNomics.
Okay.
So I actually it's a Patreon that I actually may or may not pay $5 a month for.
Okay, I was gonna see if I can pull those up while you're fucking going through it.
To the fan that just messaged me and asked why it was only Dylan's ugly ass face on the screen, it is because you just tuned in to the Nix report. They didn't actually call you ugly. I added that part myself.
Thanks, Levi. Fuck you too.
There you go, buddy.
The Nix reports.
Are you probably not. I don't know if I have you as co-host or not. So where are you looking at right now?
Hold on, I just found my desktop. Give me a freaking second. I'm looking at
There's 4 people in here, damn it, Nix. Quick, say something.
Come on, you're supposed to
Purple Monkey Dishwasher. Purple Monkey Dishwasher. There you go.
Purple Monkey Dishwasher? Why is the monkey purple and why is it in a dishwasher? I don't
know. So that's kind of not what I'm looking at. Bring up the thing I just sent you. That's what I'm actually looking at.
Okay.
So we got oh my god, this is one Spanish name I cannot pronounce. Hitchariku. Jimmy Baba Ganoush recap. Orange Cassidy, Mark Briscoe backstage promo and ad break. Will Ospreay, Swerve Strickland live promo. They went from 586 down to 542.
I was really hoping you were going to say the ad break had the most viewership.
That would
be funny as hell.
So, third quarter, 8:30, 8:45. Ospreay, Strickland, Prince Nana live promo. Ugh. Don Callis family backstage angle and break. Roderick Strong, Takeshita, Kyle Fletcher, and Zack Sabre Jr. versus Dante Martin, Kyle O'Reilly, Mark Briscoe, and Orange Cassidy through picture-in-picture ads. Oh my god, that's
let me throw out there. That's another thing.
They dropped to one.
That's another thing that AEW is doing that is so wrong, and it is there are way too many motherfucking 6-man and 8-man and 12-man and battle royals and tournaments and or gauntlets rather, not tournaments, and it's because AEW they took one complaint, and the one complaint was they had too many motherfucking people on their goddamn roster. And instead of releasing people and letting them go work for better companies, they decided, nah, fuck that shit. We're just gonna fill our motherfucking shows with 8-man and 12-man and gauntlets and this and that, multi-man matches, and they're all just gonna be shit because there's fucking 12 people in the goddamn ring trying to do shit.
So yeah, that goes. By the way, that goes through picture-in-picture. Then it ends in quarter 4. We also have Mercedes Moon video that drops down to 489. They picked a little bit back up in quarter 5. Roosh Don Callis backstage angle. The Acclaimed Okada rap. Oh my god! Actually, did you guys see this? This was actually kind of funny. I actually will give AEW credit for this one. So the Acclaimed come out. Caster's got his mic, about to do Caster shit, right? He's like, da-da-da-da-da. And just as he starts rapping, Okada comes on the screen. He's got a headset on. He's like, oh, sorry, wrong button, bitches. And hits another button. The screen goes black. So that was actually kind of funny. I actually saw that. But yeah, the Young Bucks are death on the show most of the time. But so for some reason, they jumped up in the next quarter. But I think it's because of Smo Joe, honestly.
Hook, backstage angle, Tony Schiavone.
Yeah.
Live promo.
Yeah, that was a
too many names.
Harley Cameron, Anna Jay, ad break, Claudio Castagnoli pack video. So then it drops down 498. Then the final quarter is the worst one with 431, which is or no, that's next to the final quarter. Oh, that's the overrun right here. But yeah, this final quarter, post match with Matt Menard. Who the hell's Matt Menard? Cage of Agony hit Jimmy Baba Ganoush, MJF, Ospreay, ad break, Ospreay, Cage, backstage angle, Claudio Castagnoli versus Pac through picture-in-picture, and then the overrun. Usually the overrun goes up. The overrun actually still went down.
Claudio,
what is up with AEW?
Claudio versus Pac would be a banger of a match if it wasn't
Exactly.
playing through fucking picture-in-picture.
Exactly. This is what I'm talking about. Also, I didn't even know any of these matches existed. Like, AEW doesn't promote anything. They're not like, yo, next week on AEW Dynamite, come check out Rush versus MJF.
No. They do. They do promote. They just promote 2 days before the show.
That's the problem. You can't get people into your show or wanting to watch the show. WWE, man, if it's gonna be like The Rock versus Triple H, say it's Rock Triple H at SummerSlam. We knew about that almost a year in advance. We didn't know about that shit 2 days beforehand. No, that's not how you do this shit.
Oh yeah, to our viewers, I hope that I sound better. Got this beautiful new mic set up, so as I smack it.
Yeah, I also have this. I also have these cool knobs.
I wonder if the echo feature works. I'm totally gonna fuck with this.
Oh Jesus Christ! Here we go.
Does this make me echo? I don't know. He died.
What?
Am I echoing?
That's where the hell you went.
Oh.
StreamYard must stop me from being able to use it because I have
an echo dial on my. Oh wait, no, I was fucking with the volume button. Shit.
What were we trying to do?
Echo.
There you go. That's
Jesus
Hell
Christ.
yeah.
Now we get Cavern Boy over here. But no, seriously.
Fuck. I fucked with
this is one of those things that it needs to be a wake-up call to Tony Khan. Tony Khan needs. You know what? No, not Tony. Shad. Shad Khan needs to look at this shit and go to Tony and go, fix this shit. Because this is embarrassing. Even the Jacksonville Jaguars get better ratings than this. And the Jaguars are shit.
I'm gonna hope that my volume's back to where it's supposed to be.
Real quick before we go into botches or any more news, just because
I guess I'm done.
Quick, just because it has to be played in honor because we went up with the interview segment.
Samuel Matthews' hot take.
If only he was
that was the hot take.
I was gonna say the hot take was that the Jaguars get better ratings than AEW does.
They do. And NFL, I don't care. The Detroit Lions. Well, the Lions are actually pretty good. Who's a shit team right now? Like the shitty shit team. Fucking, I don't know. The Cleveland Browns, I guess. But no, they still have a loyal fan base.
I don't follow football.
God damn it. The Jaguars would be like the team.
Yeah, just stick with the Jaguars.
And it's like, you go out here, and Shad's got to be like, his accountant's got to be coming up to him with a book and looking at this book going 0, 0, 0, 0, red, 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 red. He goes, Shad, have you seen this shit? And Shad's sitting on his giant fucking yacht. By the way, his yacht's called Kismet. How do I know this? Because it was in Bar Harbor a couple summers ago. And he's going to be sitting there looking at this going, Tony, what the fuck? No, seriously.
What are you doing?
What are you doing? You spending all my money. You fucking... Tony literally needs to shit or get off the pot at this point.
Yeah.
He needs to figure something out. He had all this talent, and he had all this amazing older talent. He had JR. He had Art Anderson. He had William Regal. He had Jake the Snake Roberts. He had all these guys who could actually do something, and he didn't. No one would listen to them. What the fuck?